What's going on here? All right. Oops. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Q&A. I'm Jay, your host, and welcome back. We're starting a new week, and just to kick things off, we're going to be talking about the OXO Brew Rapid Brewer. What have you mentioned on Friday's live stream that you're like, oh yeah, this OXO Rapid Brewer, everybody loves it. And I was like, well, maybe they have it at Target. So I went to my local Target because I had to pick up something there. They didn't have it. And I looked it up on the phone. I was like, oh, it turns out they had them at some locations. So on yesterday, I happened to be out in one of the areas. I was in Columbia, close to where Naomi lives. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, they have one at the Target there. So I rode over there and I was like, oh, all right, good. I think they're like $40. And so we're going to talk about this today. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. I've got to be away for the next 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday. So no live streams for the next 2 days. So yeah, I got trainings to do for clients, and got to make some money. That time, Kent, M0, how are you guys? Good to see you. Thank you very much. Aloha to you, Keone. How are you? And we got some comments. Craig says there are other OXO videos. Those other OXO videos weren't for the roast levels that you're typically drinking anyhow. And they're using the OXO in ways that can't be done with the AeroPress. Sorry, I'll miss some of the stream. Oh, I'm sure we'll catch you soon. And Anton says, yeah, I got famous for making light roast espresso variation. Yeah, so I know you guys, I remember I actually had this in my Amazon cart for like the last 6 months or so, or however long it's been. And I just never pulled the trigger on it because I'm actually really bad at ordering online. I really hate to order. For some reason, I really dislike buying stuff online. I got to wait for it. I want instant gratification. I just want to go pick it up. Plus, I like going to stores and interacting with people. For example, you guys know that I've been doing the woodworking thing for the last year or so, and I go to this one Woodcraft. That's my local Woodcraft here in Baltimore, and you build a relationship with everybody, and you know people, and then. And for example, I bought this ruler, this long ruler, 24-inch ruler, and I bought it probably back in September or October. And I bought it in imperial, in inches, but I really use mostly metric. And so I have never really used it because it's in inches, and I just left it on the pegboard, just sitting there for all these months. And finally, I was like, you know what? This is a waste. So I went down there and I said, hey, would it be okay to exchange this? And they were like, yeah, no problem. Oh, all right. If I had to do this online or something, I wouldn't be able to do that. Now it does maybe cost a little bit more because, retail prices, in brick and mortar are going to be a little bit more, but you get the relationship and you get better, you get to be known and have better service. So I'm really reticent to buy things online. I'm bad at buying, and it's on my Amazon card, so it just sat there. But they had one, and I got it. And like I said in the title here, I didn't watch any because, and I know you guys. I saw the comments on the community post where you're like, oh, have a look at the Intelligentsia video, and there's this other. What is this? There's another company from the Philippines, and I will go look at those after today. But I didn't want to watch them before now. Because I didn't want it to influence what I was going to do or how I might approach it. Plus, I also wanted to see, if we were just to take this cold and then, open it up and brew with it, how good would it do? And that's really the main reason why I didn't watch any of those videos. But let's have a look at the packaging here. Naomi says, how are you? Oh, thank you very much, Naomi. I appreciate that. All right, so here's their box, Rapid Brewer, blah, 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 blah. They talk about endless versatility. So you can make Americanos, lattes, Vietnamese style coffees, coffee brewtini. Whoa, coffee brewtini. How can you not? Affogato, maybe my favorite. And craving more. They have more. I guess they have more recipes here. If you want to scan that to get recipes, you can. Oh, I don't know. Here's our directions. How to brew. Add finely ground coffee to whatever this is. It must be the holder for the coffee. Coffee Cove, good morning to you as well. And you're getting ready to excellent. Oh, there's a tamper. Add water and wait 2 to 5 minutes. 2 to 5 minutes. All right. Pump coffee concentrate. Oh, so we have to pump. Okay, pump. Now I know a lot of people love to use this as a comparison to the AeroPress. I don't really understand why. I just heard about it. Make hot rich coffee in 2 minutes and smooth cold brew in 5. Oh, wow. Both things. No plugs, no charging, just exquisite flavor. Always exquisite. Pump, water chamber. Okay, good, good. Temper, coffee basket. This is the kind of thing that I like to see because it's relatively simple. And, guys, because we're men and we're prone to hubris and foolishness. We don't like to watch. We don't like to like read directions. So if a manual comes with it, the chances of guys listening to or reading a manual are very, very low. But they do have a nice. Oh, they have a nice printed manual here, instruction manual. It says. Oh, good. Lots of icons so that we don't have to think too much. We don't want to think. Add coffee grounds, half cup, 40 grams of finely ground coffee to the second fill line, 40 grams. All right, we're going to try, oh no, that's cold concentrate. For hot concentrate, 20 grams of finely ground coffee. How much water? We had hot concentrate. Oh, it's a concentrate. Add hot water up to 212. You really can't add anything above 212 unless you're in some kind of vacuum chamber, so that's nice. To the fill line, with about 160 mils. Okay, 160 mils. And then I guess if we're doing that, we're going to do a bypass. All right, we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that. So here it is, all plasticky wrapped. So there's a carafe. Whoops. There's a carafe, right? So they said there's a carafe. Ooh. So plastic carafe. I guess, somewhat break-resistant polycarbonate. And then this is the OXO brew. This is the brew. So this is where the coffee goes. So there's a very fine perforation stainless steel mesh. You can kind of see them now in that reflection there, right? Oh, the tamper. Oh, here's another screen that. Oh, this is just polycarbonate that has holes in it to evenly disperse the water across the bottom. There's another view from the inside. Wow, that's, for something that's going to hold 20 grams, 40 grams, this is very, very deep. Like look, it comes to my finger joint, right? Like that's solidly deep. Like, for example, if let's say this is a 21 gram basket, right? Like that. Oh, I guess, I want to say that I'm all shocked, but maybe that's, oh yeah, 58 millimeters. Huh. Oh, look at that. What is going on here? I can put my 58 millimeter basket in this. Oh, this could be some possibilities. Huh. Now, I'm not clear, though, if it's sealing perfectly well. Okay, this is going to be this could be something for later. Another video for another day. Let's see, this is the problem with these Marzocco stainless steel. If you can't pressurize otherwise it pops off that, right? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, it even has graduations. You can kind of. So you can see kind of where the 20 and the 40 gram markings are in case you want to do that. Now, if you have any suggestions about the grind size, it doesn't say, what does it suggest for grind size? Add coffee grounds. Finely ground coffee. So we're going to grind it. I guess we're going to grind it to the same grind as like how we would use for AeroPress. Okay. Dev says, good morning. Glad to see you. Thank you very much, Dev. I'm definitely feeling much, much better. Like I was really mucked up. I know a lot of you guys put a lot of messages out there on Instagram as well as on YouTube. And I really do appreciate that. And I wasn't able to respond because really in the midst of it all, I was just so messed up that I just couldn't even I really had no bandwidth, I would see I would see that there were messages and I would be like, So it was really terrible. It was really terrible. Okay, so now we have, I guess, unscrews. There we go. Let me put this here. So unscrews here. And so there's you just twist it and then it pops up. And then the pressure, there's a little like bladder here, bladder or valve. You can kind of see it moving. Actually, it sounds like a heart. Anyway, but the travel is not very far. I don't know if that makes a difference, but let's see if we put this together and we feel here. Oh yeah, there is some pressure coming through. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so we're gonna get our coffee. We're gonna try it. We're gonna use let's use our House Nation because that's what we're used to, and we use this on Friday for the AeroPress. So it'll give us kind of a reference, or give me a kind of a reference point. George with us. Cheers to all joining today. Wonderful to have the gang back. It is wonderful. It is wonderful to see all of you. Oops. So it says in the directions 20 grams. So what do you use there? 20 grams and 160 mils of water. So we may actually use 20.6. Okay, 20 grams. Now let us go and get our scale. Our grinder. Whoops. Here's our grinder. Naomi wants to know what's our grind setting. We're going to go to pretty fine. We're going to go. So the other day when we were. Okay, that was weird. Is there coffee in there? I don't think there was coffee in there. As I was turning it, it was really tight. So typically when it's tight, I figure there's something jamming it. So I hit the button to, and then it just kind of like, I don't know. That was weird. Anyway, so we're going to go. So like if we say that 6 would be the medium setting, kind of where we would be for pour over brewing. We want to go finer, but we don't want to necessarily go. See here now it's getting tight again. Okay, that's weird. Is that because it's at an angle? Okay, so we're gonna go here. We're gonna go to there, which is 3 and 1 tick. Now, why? I don't know. I'm just really going by feel. We were here the other day with the AeroPress. I'm going to go a little bit finer. Mainly because, it's kind of fine here. Mainly because I just feel like it. Actually, there's no real rhyme or reason, right? There's not too much. A lot of what I do in coffee as a barista is really based on my experience over the years. So it in some respects, I don't necessarily, in a role as a trainer, I have to find a way to articulate it. But a lot of times it's just really kind of going by feel. Like, it's like I've used this grinder enough. So I feel like this would be a good spot. Well, it was nice here with the AeroPress, but maybe we're going to go try this. And you know what? It's 1 cup of coffee. If we try it, we hate it, go back, right? So it's not really too much of a big deal. I know a lot of people stress out on like trying to get the exact correct detail in every step of the way. But you know what? You brew, you drink, you try it, you hate it, you love it, then you just adjust a little bit more. Again, it's always about adjusting, right? And I guess the thing when you're a professional barista and you're working in a cafe environment, if you're hopefully you're a thinking barista that does this, but you're always tweaking, you're always kind of adjusting. And the big difference is, of course, like in a commercial environment, you're like making, maybe 100 drinks a day or something like that. And you're like, so your ability to fine tune and adjust and see the difference is somewhat apparent, right? And relatively immediate. So whereas if you're you're an enthusiast and you're doing it at home and you just are making 1 cup at a time and 1 cup a day, or maybe 3 cups a day, it just takes longer to get that kind of feedback from your results. But there's no real necessary rhyme or reason why I've chosen this setting. All right, we're going to turn it on and add our coffee. lick it out. Okay, good. Put this away. Rusty's here. Did he say when he bought this? I got it from Target, and I think it was $40. When I was looking at it on the shelf, right? It was misplaced on the shelf, and I think I took a photo of it because I was going to use it for the. It was. I put it next to the AeroPress, but like it wasn't really in a place that had a tag on it, so I just presumed it was $40, and I never looked at the receipt. I think it was because. It could have been more. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it was more. Because I had 2 gift cards. One I think had $20 left on it, and then I had to pay another $22. So yeah, about $40. About $40. And it was at the Target. So if you go to Target.com, you can look it up, and OXO Brew, Rapid Brew, and it shows you like what it'll tell you, like, okay, your store it's not there because my local store doesn't have it. But it'll tell you nearby stores where they may have it, or they do have it. So like this one was the last one in the whole store. So they'll tell you like there's 1 here, 2 there, 4 there. And if you want to drive 20 miles, 30 miles, 17 miles, you can go there and pick it up. I only picked this up because I was out doing a delivery yesterday, and well, it just happened to be close by. So if I had to go to the other one that was farther away, like from where I live, I was like, we probably would be doing this like next week. Thursday, there we go. Oh, Rusty, I missed a few. Rusty says, good morning. I've been seeing this brew over social media in the landscape. Good thing I'm watching yours first. Oh, nice. Well, welcome, Jay. And JR's with us. What's going on, JR? Thank you for being here too, man. Hopefully Thursday we will not do this Thursday, next Thursday. I think that's when we'll return to the Coffee and Cigars live stream on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on the Ono Live channel. We've been away for that for quite a while. Anton says, I wonder if all ground pro brewers, English is difficult sometimes. Pro brew brewers fit in the OD. Oh, I wonder. I don't know. That basket. This is the VST basket. I think this is VST. I have no idea anymore. It's so many baskets, so many portafilters that have. Oh, never mind. Yeah. We'll come back to that in a bit, George. Always trouble with the ode is. The ode is a fickle beast. Rusty says, my ode did the same thing. It's been humid here in New Jersey, and some of the fines were getting caked up in the grinder, causing it to be hard to turn. Had to take it apart and brush it out. But here's the thing that it was kind of weird is because, like, I had tilted it, right? Because I was looking at it, and that's an odd thing to do with it, right? But, it stuck there, right? It was sticky here because I had it all the way here. And then I was turning it, but right about there, it got sticky, and then I hit it, and then there's no resistance when you start it this time. And then I brought it around to just go to full, and then it got stuck here again. So I don't know, is there like extra beans somewhere in there? But then the last time we used it with the AeroPress, put 24 grams in, and then we scaled it again with the coffee in the AeroPress, and it was still 24. So I'm presuming that there was no retention in the grinder. So I don't know. That was weird. That was weird. All right. So we have 20 grams of coffee that we ground because this is what OXO tells us. So, and I'm presuming that OXO has turned to some coffee professionals that have lesser pedigree that to get to do this. So we're gonna test this. We're gonna do the Omniel thing and test it out. Now here's the tricky part, right? Because you have to twist it and try not to, and then you kind of have to go back and forth, like. Ooh, 20 grams. Excellent, excellent. So there we are. We got good. Now here's the thing. So it says to tamp it, but one of the things that I'm a little bit concerned about, just off the cuff, is that when we're talking about espresso, and maybe this doesn't really apply because we're not really talking about the same pressures that espresso making entails. But when you talk espresso, we're filling the basket, and when you hit it with water, the grinds will swell because they absorb the water and they become bigger. Like if this is one little tiny pebble of coffee, once you hit it with water, it actually swells. So your coffee bed actually grows a bit. But a lot of times we try to make it so that we've got enough coffee in here so that as it expands, as the coffee increases in volume, it impacts itself against the dispersion screen inside the group head, which kind of, the theory is that it keeps everything in line. It keeps everything together. Now with this, my concern is that even though we're tamping it, like we're going to tamp it, there's so much room for expansion, right? Like you can see there's so much room for expansion that I don't know if the tamping really matters. And can we use like a real tamper, right? Can we use a real tamper in this? I mean, it's too small for that, right? Yeah, this is way bigger. You can see the ring around it. So this will not work. You could probably call Reg Barber and ask them. You could get this measurement if you wanted to have a custom tamper, because you know what? This is like, I mean, it's nice that I think it fits inside here, right? It fits, is that right? Yeah, so it fits inside. Oh, it fits in here, which is great because it's totally contained. So if you want to keep it, but for tamping like this is rubbish. Like who? Like especially what am I gonna do? I can't even get in there, right? So I'd have to do this kind of thing, and there's no real control. Like what you want to tamper is like grip and control and just like power. There's no power in this. This is Mickey Mouse. Okay, so let's distribute, and then let's do some technique here. Technique, right? So technique. That's just foolish. That's foolish. And then a twist to polish. Oh, yeah, pretty good. Look at that. That's like totally professional right there, right? Professional. Oh, look at that. Professional. That's like totally clutch. I was talking with my niece yesterday, and she was like, we just went to go see Conan Gray. And I was like, what? You saw Conan Gray? Like she went to some show in Baltimore. There's a record store here called Soundgarden. They had this special where like if you bought the CD or the vinyl of Conan Gray, you could come down, pick it up, and go to a free show with Conan. And it was like in this really intimate like space, like this parking lot outdoors. But like, it's small. Like she had pictures. I was like, oh, that's amazing. I was like, that's pretty dope. Okay, so now, well, here's my kind of, okay, so we take this and put the water in here, right? Tamp coffee, reassemble. So it says here to screw the coffee basket onto the bottom of the water chamber using alignment markers as a guide to tighten. There are alignment markers somewhere. Here's that must be this. There's a little line right there. And there's another line right here. Yeah, and they do line up. Look at that. They do. I'm a little bit reticent to turn this like this to show you, to get that, because I'm thinking that the puck is falling out. Oh, no. Okay, good. That's why we're professionals here, right? Good. We got to catch up. Coffee Co. says he paid $40. Awesome. Oh, yes, $40. He says $40. He only says, I have one of those. Got it a while ago, but haven't even. That's the problem. Sometimes you get all these things. You're like, oh, I got it. But I've got, how much stuff do I have around here that I haven't opened yet? It's terrible when you have that. It's terrible. Anton says, I think it's one of those cases where the brand has no idea what they have unleashed. I feel like this happens often with coffee stuff. Oh, I think you're right. Like, I think it's one of those things where they release it and then they don't. I mean, it's been on the market for quite a while. It's only I've only noticed in the last couple of weeks or maybe less than the last couple of weeks where people are talking about it online. But I mean, I think it's. I mean, I was always kind of curious about it, but whatever. Rusty says the good old AeroPress foam would help in point. If only they actually made it. Do they still make it, or can you buy it on their website and like get it as a part, or is it just totally gone now? Ken says haven't felt the need to buy a new brewer for a while, but Lance's videos made me curious about the OXO. Oh, nice. What did he say about it that was so interesting? Okay, so we've got that there. Now, do I have to? Isn't there another part? Oh, yeah, this. So we want to. Okay, so I'm going to assemble the whole thing, and we want to. Let me just reheat our. Okay, so let's go and tear that out. Oh, I can't use the Brew Assist because. Yeah, no, anyway, timer and how about weight? There we go. That's all we need. We're going to do 160 grams of water, like because that's what that says here. 160 grams hot water, and then we're going to wait 2 minutes. Oh, it says 2 minutes. 2 minutes, which seems too fast. But you know what? We're going to go with OXO. Like I said, I think OXO must have gotten. They must have consulted with some coffee professionals to give them the recipe and tell them how to make it. So we will go with them and let them, you know. Neri says, yeah, I wish the tamper handle was. I mean, I get why. I mean, of course, if you're trying to fit it in this thing, I mean, I get it, but it's like maybe you could have fit it into here, and then we could have had, a taller tamper would have been nice. There you go, OXO. Or this is, a great way for people to, like, if it really takes off, there might be a market for making tampers to fit that. I mean, and the nice thing with the Reg Barber is that you theoretically can do that. You can take these apart. Yeah, there we go. And you could buy extra pistons and put them. I'm not going to do that. That's looking janky. That's looking like I haven't taken this up. I actually haven't taken this apart like 25 years. I mean, I'm going to do it now. Probably a bad idea. Okay, so we got our water boiling. Anton says tamping matters because formation of the water channels at the beginning will be different. Good point. Lance has been trying to get OXO to make a ceramic version, but there's been like zero reaction from them, or not ceramic, not plastic, whatever. I guess, I mean, OXO's a big company. I mean, they probably don't, they're probably not that worth. I mean, they're, if it's really that popular and really like flying off the shelves, like you'd think that they would have more in stock. Or maybe that's why they don't have more in stock. I don't know. Anton says, I won't get the OXO since I have a machine with, yeah. Okay, great way to drop that again. Yeah, we know you got that machine. Coffee Comb says, I went a little too fine for espresso. The brew stalled. It's not bad though, and need to dial it in more. Brewing with Moonwake's Irma Lasau or Lacau? Lasau, I'm presuming Lasau. Okay, so we're going to go 2 minutes and 160 grams. So we wait 2 minutes and then, we wait 2 minutes and then pump. So we're going to so it's going to let it drop. So that the perforations here on the top are going to percolate into the coffee. And then I guess there's enough resistance in the coffee, so it just kind of like sits in it. And then after 2 minutes, we're going to. Okay, let's go. Let's go now. We're going to start. I'm going to presume that since we're going to be doing we may be doing a bypass with this, that perhaps then the amount isn't necessarily critical, right? Like when I brew the AeroPress, the amount is not that critical. Anton said now Jay's kitchen also turns into. All right, so you can see here that it's slowly percolating in, right? Although it seems that it's only going in this spot, so you kind of wonder what's up with that. Now, I think typically you would put this on, right, so that you can have it. But I'm going to leave it open, even though we're losing a lot of like temperature, because I just figured it'd be interesting to see what's actually happening here. So, while the theory is that it's going to be flowing through all of the holes, evenly coating our puck, I don't think that's what's happening. Can I unscrew this without destructing? Oh, it's totally filled in there. Okay, we can't. Okay, so it's now taking its time. So most of it has flowed through. You can see that it's the scumminess of the coffee is touching the top now. So we've reached a point where it's all flowed through. So I guess it's ratioed to only hold 160 grams, I guess, of water. There's still a little bit of like level here. Now we're getting to the 2-minute mark. So I'm going to take this off. Put this on and now pump. Push down and twist the handle of the cord turn to unlock the pump. Press down gently and slowly a few times until coffee concentrate is finished dripping into the carafe. It says pump to at least 4 to 5 times. So we're just going to go slow. I wish I can't see that with my big hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now has that, okay, so that was 5 times. So will that have evacuated the coffee from the lower chamber? Oh yeah, more or less. Actually, let's see. Is that everything, or is there more to be evacuated? Oh, not really. There's just this little bit there. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, now we've got our. So am I brewing here? Oh, so here's something interesting. If you look at their chart, you can do different ways. So you can do extra fine grind to get espresso, rapid brew for fine, medium for pour over, coarse for drip coffee. Dilute coffee concentrate with that hotter water. We recommend a 1:2 to 1:3 ratio of coffee of concentrate to water to milk. For example, 2 ounces of concentrated dilute with 4 to 6 ounces of water or milk. Okay, so we're going to take this. We're going to take our mug, tear it out. We're going to put in. Oops. How do I change that? Oh, there we go. Okay, I hate that. I really hate that. That just irritates me. 131.7 milligrams of water. And it says 1 to 2. So we're going to add 2 times this. So 260 grams to make it 390 grams. Is that right? We're just going to go to 12 here because that's just too much. We're at 276. We're right. Yeah, this is fine. Craig says that you immediately screw the pump on once you pour the water through to keep the water from flowing. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. But don't you want the water to? Oh, you mean to flow? But when you put this, so you want to hold the water in here or let the water hold in here? Because I mean, it is flowing through, and I wasn't actually I didn't pay attention to whether it was actually coming out because of the perforations, but you want to hold it here because if you wait 2 minutes and it's still in here because of the vacuum lock, and then you pump it through, I don't know. Thoughts. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. All right, so here's our first brew with this OXO rapid brew, which has taken us now 35 minutes to make. So not so rapid, but that's just us. Let's taste. Still hot. Gosh, this is my problem. I've been doing this this is what happened in the AeroPress XL video. It's like I've been doing it. I still burn myself on coffee because I'm not realizing that it's hot. But that's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right. Now, is it better than the AeroPress? It actually in this particular case with this coffee, the House Nation, the bitters are more pronounced. At least at this stage when the coffee is very hot, the bitters are a little more pronounced. Now that could be just because we're at a finer grind than the last time than on the AeroPress, right? But that's just my initial thought. Now, if we were to take this AeroPress, right? Compare them. They're fairly similar in size, but you know what, man? There's a lot of rigmarole to this, and now we have to clean it, right? So let's see if we're going to clean it out. I mean, this pump, I don't think there's much to worry about the pump being cleaned. Here, I mean, this has just been water, so perhaps, and it's hot water, so as long as it's not too dirty, well, actually, the problem is at the bottom is going to be, yeah, you can see residual coffee here at the bottom. So, I mean, you could clean that, or maybe just, you could wipe it out. I guess that might be all right. There's still some residual in there, so I'd want to rinse it out. And then now the coffee, here's our coffee puck. Now, I guess you just kind of knock that out. So you need to clean that. There's a little bit of, there's a little bit of shape to that. I mean, it's definitely not espresso-like shape, but it's got some shape to it. That's not bad. Not bad. All right, let's get rid of that. So maybe I was wondering if you got the carafe too. The carafe needs to be cleaned. So there's a few more components, right? Like with the AeroPress, you have to press it out, clean. You have 3 pieces to clean, and then now here we actually have 3 pieces to clean. So it's not terribly, probably not terribly much different than cleaning the AeroPress. Let's give it a rinse and see. All right, there we go. Then let's use our microfiber towels to wipe them off. I think though, I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, we'll probably brew with it more in the future as we go along just to see the difference and see what it might be able to do. I'm interested to know what you guys think about like maybe different recipes, different approaches. Like I know that Craig, I think it was Craig was telling you about the intelligentsia recipe. I know a lot of the Philippine. There's a coffee shop in the Philippines that has a good recipe out there. And then, of course, you guys all mentioned the Lance video, so maybe we'll check that out. Or maybe not. Putting it back together. Yeah, here, I don't know if I made it clear earlier, but there's that notch that I wasn't able to show too well. But evidently, we're supposed to line that up for whatever reason. Oh, there's another notch here. And I think this is probably maximum water level for like when you're doing it. So I guess you got to tighten it. So I guess that gives you a reference point for your torque of that, and then you can push this back down, and twist to lock it in place. And this goes like this. Oh, and that goes in there, that goes in there. And that's pretty much the most compact, as compact as you're going to. What is going on? Oh, it's not perfectly seated. It goes like that. Maybe it goes like that, upside down. Is that right? Yeah. And there it is, all reassembled. Kind of fun, kind of fun. George says, I like your freelance approach to interpreting the instruction. Yeah, we're just going with the flow at the moment. Going with the flow, trying different things. You don't want to get. I don't want to get too crazy about it. Mom says, "Good morning." Mom said, "Well, Mom, good morning to you. Good to see you." Coffee Cove says, "It says some water will flow through. Mine did. Okay, very good." Anton says, "Cleanup workflow is a big consideration." Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's part of me that wants to poo-poo on it because I was like, "Oh, it's going to be more difficult to clean," but that really wasn't terribly difficult. I mean, it's maybe not that much more difficult than having to do all the stuff with the AeroPress, especially if you get it. If you end up with grinds caught up inside here, and you got to pull it apart and then clean it, and then it's not just a simple plunge and then wipe. You want to. I guess it could be, but I think very similar. And the AeroPress is going to be a little more compact. Maybe the criticism I might have for the OXO Rapid Brew would be similar to the AeroPress, that it's a single dose brewer. So if you want to make two, you've got to reset. So it's more difficult to enjoy 2 cups with one, to share coffee with a friend or a lover. That's probably the only big downfall of this brewer. I mean, $40 is similar priced. You get maybe a little more mechanical going on here, a little more components going on. So perhaps there may be some prone to failure. But I got to say, OXO over the years, and if you're not familiar, OXO is actually more of a kitchen tool company. They do a lot of kitchen tools for the home kitchen user. And even in our commercial kitchens, we put a lot of OXO products. There's some OXO products that, like for example, the OXO can opener. Man, I love that thing. That is an awesome can opener. I mean, we've got, in commercial world, you got all these big commercial, stainless steel, can openers, and they're supposed to be awesome, but they all are janky and they suck. Rusty knows. But the OXO one, man, I tell you, that OXO, we kept 2 of them, one behind the bar and one in the kitchen downstairs, and it was great. But the Rapid Brewer, all right, for a first look, I'm pretty impressed. Maybe not impressed. I'm positively encouraged. It would be the best way to state it. Craig says, regardless, you broke the vacuum by unscrewing. You can adjust the pre-infusion rate by unscrewing a bit, but you did yeah. Well, in this case, I'm less interested in today's brew in trying to maintain true brew integrity, rather than trying to see and just see what's going on, understand what's happening, right? I get that you want to assemble this right away, but I think it's much more interesting to see what's actually happening here that you can't see when this is on, right? Because we've got plenty. You and me will all have plenty of opportunities to brew, if you have one, to brew with it assembled like this. But seeing what's happening, I think it's just kind of curious and interesting. And I was really surprised that it seemed to be going through just this one particular spot rather than across. Now that could just be visual. It could have been, now that I think about it, it could be just extra drops, just kind of clinging to this side because of surface tension, while maybe the other holes were flowing through. Because when I did unscrew this part from it, it was complete. I don't know if I pulled it away enough, but I pulled it up and I was like, oh, I better not take it off because it looks like it was like, the liquid was right on the edge here of the rim. So it's like, okay, that looks like it's prone for disaster. And then if it started to overflow, my concern is if it starts to overflow, then you would get grinds caught up in here. And then when I reassemble it, it becomes much more difficult. And then you've got more problems that are happening along the way. Now, I must say that I am curious to know or play around with it in the future to see what kind of results can we get with that. Like that was just like a surprising find. Like it fit, the 58 millimeter fits in this contraption pretty darn well. And it looks like, it kind of disappears. Like this stainless, this metal color kind of disappears right there. I think that I think that it's actually sealing, and I'm pretty sure it is. So I wonder, like, would this, I don't know, would that even give us anything? Who knows? Would it give us anything? Maybe no different. Maybe it's just a different space. Maybe we could do two. I don't know. Just, just riffing. Will that fit this way? I think it should, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it will. I thought it did come. I did put it back in that way. It does fit. I guess I just had it like uneven. All right. Kind of fun. Coffee Cove says, I found cleaning to be pretty easy. And that was, I mean, I do think that it's, as equivalent to cleaning the AeroPress, right? And Naomi says, I use my AeroPress paper filters, and I have some AeroPress paper filters cut from Chemex papers. Nice. Did you just scissor it around? Is that what you did? Or did you have some kind of, stamping mechanism too? Coffee Grove says, I like it so far. Need to dial in for the brew style. It's also supposed to make good soup. Oh, that's what you guys were mentioning about the soup before. Whatever that is, I need to research. Maybe it's just a matter of putting a lot of water in and just kind of letting it soup around. Or maybe people are putting the coffee in here and letting it, right? That would be my guess. My guess is they'll put the coffee in this water chamber like an AeroPress and let it all kind of floaty around and that kind of thing. Puda Brews AI says here, hey man, I'm glad you feel better. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Now, is it Puda Brews Al or Puda Brews AI? I'm now traveling with the Orb. Haven't pulled an espresso shot in a week. Oh, wow. Amazing. And soup is a type of turbo. What does that even? I don't even know what that means now. Naomi says, no, I ordered the papers from someone. Okay. Oh, AI. Okay, so it is AI. Okay, just making sure. All right, so we got our coffee. It's just been kind of sitting here, cooling down a little bit. I built a channel on coffee. Oh, gotcha. Excellent. So a little bit, now maybe this is the grind. The bitterness has toned down. Early on, we had really heavy bitterness, very pronounced bitterness. And now it's kind of got a tannic dryness, right? There's a dryness to the finish that is unusual for this coffee, or at least, and maybe it's because of the finer grind, but it's got, how when you drink like heavy oaked Chardonnays, like from California, or if you have younger Cabernet Sauvignons from California, and they're also been on oak, and they're kind of got that on the palate. That kind of there's a character of that right now. But I thought that with the coffee we should have something to eat, and I have this. I have some banana bread that my mom made for me. Now, this banana bread is kind of interesting in that, it's actually a banana bread recipe that my aunt had developed. And my aunt back in like 20, maybe 20, what is it? 20 years ago, more or less 20 years ago, my mom and my aunt would enter in the Maryland State Fair. They would have these, like baking competitions. And the Maryland State Fair, if you evidently state fairs, there are a lot of agriculture. They're agricultural based, even though they have rides and like funnel cake and all that, which is what a lot of people go for. What it really is about is, having crafts and agriculture. So, one of my friends is bringing eggs for competition, but my mom brought, and my aunt would bring cakes. And so this is the banana bread that my aunt brought 20 some years ago. She won the blue ribbon for it. So it's a wonderful recipe. And we actually served it at the original Spro. And then when we had Spro Hamden, we actually made some variations to this recipe. Where at Spro Hamden, when you would come there, we didn't have this particular banana bread. We had a variation on it where we changed it into a gluten-free recipe. This is fully glutenized deliciousness, right? But we wanted to have people in Hamden wanted to have gluten-free options, and that was a big thing. So we wanted to have that. So we actually started by creating our own flours, which is really kind of a difficult proposition. One of my good friends, Alex Talbot, I don't know if I did a live stream from his place. He runs a place now called Curiosity Donuts in Levittown, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. And he's a chef, and him and his wife Aki Kamazawa, they're chefs and very experimental, very forward-thinking, very progressive. And they had a recipe that we worked with that was about making your own gluten-free flour. It's still on their website. They have a website called Ideas in Food. Really great website if you're really into food. And we would use a variation on their recipes for ours. But you're taking all these different flours. It was back then in like 2009. Like it was more difficult to have gluten-free. Like now you can just go buy like Bob's Red Mill, and they've got all this gluten-free like flour blends. And back then there was none of that existed. So we had to create our own. And so, but the thing about going back to this tannin thing is that when a big component of one of the components of our flour was, what is it? It was tapioca flour, which the problem with tapioca flour is that it gives that grittiness, right, on your palate, right? So when you think about like tannins on your palate, it's kind of dry, it's kind of got this, but the tapioca has very similar property, but it's a little bit more gritty. So that was to me, that was the only like difficult part of it. It's like, oh man, it would be better if we didn't have that. But this one is the original recipe. When my mom was after, would you like? She said, I had some bananas. I was gonna make some bananas. I said, could you go back and do the original recipe rather than the modified recipes that she does now, where she modifies it with lower sugar content? I was like, go for the full sugar. I want to be reminded of the original recipe, but it uses all bananas, all like normally fresh materials. So it's going to go bad in a couple of days because that's what it's all about. When you have fresh like baked goods, it always goes bad quickly because there's no preservatives, and you can see the striations of the grains of the Cavendish bananas. The bananas, and by the way, Cavendish bananas, the bananas here in the United States that we eat mainly, are dying. Or no, they're not necessarily dying, but they're under attack again. So in commercial banana production, like the little banana candies, the banana flavoring, that's not the bananas we're eating today. That's not the Cavendish. That was the previous variety of bananas that were wiped out because of blight or you guys, I'm sure somebody knows exactly what happened, but there's some kind of disease that happens to bananas after they're commercially cultivated after several generations where they're just dying. So Cavendish is dying. And they say within maybe 10 years, the Cavendish will be gone. But here's the crumb. Let's look at the crumb. Look at the crumb. It's a nice crumb, nicely done. All right, I think it's nice with the. We sold a lot of these with coffee. Actually, I think that she didn't put the same. I think she cut the sugar. My mom's always trying to help out. Like, oh, I'm not going to put so much sugar. Brew says Brew says that Lance did a video on soup with the OXO. Oh, like actual real soup. Coffee Cove says, I saw Lance's video on that, but did not catch an explanation of what soup was. The ratio of info, and I may have missed that part. He did 2 videos, one on the OXO itself, and then a second one on soup. Oh. I would actually be more interested if he actually did some kind of like soup, edible soup on it. That would be fascinating. That's good though. So today I've got to go to so Maryland State Fair happens around Labor Day, the end of August into September. Which means that it's happening this coming week. So I got a call from Matt yesterday, and Matt's like, hey, they're accepting submissions for the craft fair. And he's like, you should put in one of your chairs. I was like, what? Hey, good idea. Maybe I'll do that. So today I'm going to head down to I'm going to select one of the chairs that I have made and submit that into the woodworking category for the Maryland State Fair. See if I can get anything. But it's a bit challenging. Like it's a bit intimidating because my mom and my aunt have entered in the Maryland State Fair and they have won multiple times. Like every time they entered, they would win. Either the lowest they got was, I think, a 3rd place once. The rest were all blue ribbons. They all got 1st place. So I was thinking, man, what if I enter and I don't get anything? Like I'll be the only one that entered in the state fair for one of these categories in my family that didn't get any prize. I'll be embarrassed. But if you look at my Instagram, I posted a post today about decisions. I had to decide one of the 6 chairs that I made over the last couple months. I'm going to enter. So I just got to figure out which one I really like, which one really speaks the most to what I want to do. This is pretty good. Power Plant says, oh, good morning. Good morning to you, man. Good to see you. I'm late early than usual. That's all right, man. It's always good to see you. Always good to have you. Then here's the thing. I brought a fork. I'm not even using it. Filipinos eat with their hands, right? These are actually not really. We're not Indian, so my one friend Indian Gautam, he's very we were out eating one day and he's super good at not using his left hand. Like Filipinos, we eat with all of our hands. It's terrible. But it's funny because I was talking to one of my friends, David. He's like me. He grew up here, Filipino, and I'm like, do you use your hand? He's like, no. It's like, what do you I always want to go to hands. I'm always about handling my food. It's really I could be in the most fancy of restaurants. I could be at the French Laundry. And there's a party at some point in the meals. I just want to pick that up and put it in my mouth. Ken says, nice chairs. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Tony says, have you seen Chief of War yet? I was thinking about you because I did watch the first episode. I downloaded it and I didn't realize that it was in Hawaiian. If you guys, so there's a new series out on Apple, Hulu, I don't know. And it's called Chief of War. It's about this chief from Maui, the island of Maui. And this is during the era of the Hawaiian history. I think it's post-European contact, right? The Europeans, I think they're already in contact with Europeans by this point. But the Hawaiian Islands at some point were very disparate. They were all their own things with their own chiefdoms and all that. And through the years, this one chief, Kamehameha, from the Big Island, from what we call the Big Island, Hawaii Island. And this is why the state of Hawaii, or the kingdom of Hawaii, and then the state of Hawaii is known as Hawaii, is because when Kamehameha came to power, he went and conquered all of the land, all of the islands, and called the entire kingdom Hawaii after his own island, right? So, but this is a TV series starring Jason Momoa, who is Hawaiian, from what Keone tells me. I didn't realize that. I thought actually he was Samoan. But maybe I'm just confusing him and just correlating him with The Rock, right? But the story is about him, Jason Momoa plays a chief. I can't remember the name at the moment, but he plays a chief on Maui, and who is somewhat reticent. Actually, I'm getting a lot of this because I watched the episode. Reticent to fight, but he goes to Kahekili. Kahekili is the chief of Maui, and I guess everyone's related in some way. But like, he goes because Kahekili wants to rule, and Kahekili will eventually go to Oahu, where Honolulu is located, and will conquer Honolulu or Oahu, and then eventually Kamehameha will attack and conquer Kahekili. And if you've ever been to Hawaii, there's this whole Pali Cliffs, 1,000-foot sheer vertical drops, pushes them up the mountain in battle to the edge of the cliffs and says either you will push you off or you will jump to your death, right? And that's further down. But it's interesting because it's not necessarily, I thought when I first heard about it, I thought that the story would be about Kamehameha rather than this smaller, lesser known chief from Maui, from Kauai. He's actually on Kauai, not Maui. He's on Kauai. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. But when I started watching the show, I didn't realize that it's all in Hawaiian language. Like the entire show, at least the first episode, is completely in Olelo, Hawaii, right? So completely in Hawaiian. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, and I didn't download subtitles. I downloaded them later, but I haven't watched the episodes yet. But I was like, oh my, like I am like swimming, trying to understand everything there. Like I can understand parts of it because I studied a bit about it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like really. It was actually interesting to watch for me personally because I was trying to like get into that understanding and get into that groove. But I mean, my comprehension is probably only like maybe 5%. So a lot of it I had to glean from just what they're doing and their actions. But I really kind of enjoyed it. I really liked it, and the level of detail. Now, Keone, if my presumption is correct, you've done all of Momoa's tattoos, right? Like, and then did you do like Temuera's tattoos? I mean, were you involved with the production at all? Because I heard they were shooting they shot a lot of it in New Zealand. PowerPoint says it was very good, and I'd say on par with Shogun. Oh man, that's a hell of a statement. That's a hell of a statement. I need to watch more episodes. I did download the subtitles, so I need to get this week's episode. PowerPoint says, The Rock wants to be in Chief of War, so I mean they should let him in. I mean, and I thought that Temuera. So the chief that plays Kahekili, the one from Maui, is actually Temuera Morrison. If you may know him as Jango Fett, right, from Boba Fett's father, who was the father of all of the clone troopers in Star Wars. But Temuera's Maori from New Zealand, and I was like, now I know that Maori and Hawaiian are very similar, like they're all Polynesian languages, all Polynesian people. But I was really impressed with his speaking ability. Now, I don't know how close it was, like Maori is to Hawaiian, but I was like, man, awesome. PowerPlant says, I say Strange New Worlds understands the Trek tone better than any Star Trek. Man, Strange New Worlds is pretty dope. I watched that. I watched the latest episode on Friday with Kirk. But it's interesting. Like I was so like disappointed why they sent La'an. Like he was like, La'an was like, I'm going to go back to the Enterprise. Like, why are you leaving? It's like, why are you leaving? I want to ship these two together. Like they're like perfect. But canon prevents that. Established canon prevents that. Well, since I've not seen Deep Space Nine. I was a big Voyager fan, but the idea of like, and I know everybody's like, it's a great show. I just haven't taken the time to watch it. But back in the 90s, like the idea of like Star Trek on a stationary base station is like, what? I want to be traveling across the galaxy, not just like stuck in a star base. Q&A says it's really based on actual history. Jason is actually a descendant of Kaiana, who he portrayed. Oh, really? Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that. I mean, it was really interesting that he played this, what I think is a not relative, but now, and I read a little bit about it, but he's not he's a big player. He got to be a big player, but he's not like Kamehameha. Like you thought, I would have thought that Momoa would want to play like Kamehameha, like Kamehameha, but Kaiana will eventually make it with Kamehameha, but like will turn against Kamehameha at some point, and then will actually be killed by Kamehameha, because evidently he was, if you don't follow the king, then that's always bad for your life. Kenny says, I designed all the tattoos. Oh, that's amazing, man. That's so amazing. So, if I remember correctly, I watched the first episode like 2 weeks ago. Momoa has triangles on the side of his head. What is the significance of that? And I was wondering, actually, when I was watching, I was like, because I remember you mentioned to me before that you did Jason's tattoos in real life, and I was like, and I was wondering, like, the ones that come up the head, I was like, are those the real ones, or were they just added on during the shoot? Because that's pretty epic. It was epic. Howplan says, Cliff Curtis noted. All right, that was very strange. The camera just. Okay, that was very strange. This camera just kind of turned off. That was very weird. Very first time doing that. But like I was saying, the Cliff Curtis, he must have was he in the first episode, or is he like in later episodes? Because I do like Cliff Curtis, man. He's like he was in a movie. One of my favorite movies is a movie called one of my favorite movies of all time is called Once Warriors, and actually it stars Tamora Morrison, and Cliff Curtis is one of the supporting actors. And man, Cliff Curtis, he plays this character like you're just like loving that he's getting the crap beat out of him by the end of the movie. Oh yeah, good. You should die. It's terrible. But he's a great actor. Great actor. Anton says, I was occupied, came back, and we went from soup to Jango Fett. No, we always go from soup. What was interesting here? Anton says, the chairs are cool, by the way. Sell 2 chairs and you got yourself a cool new grinder. That would be nice. Or more Festool, really. Festool just announced a month ago that they got a new battery-powered hand planer coming out. I was like, it's not, they won't be cheap. It's like, yeah, I do need to sell chairs for that. Kenny says, Hawaiian and Maori language are closely related. I can speak conversational Maori, even though I haven't. Oh, okay. Those are real and okay. So all the tattoos are real. Okay, that's amazing. Because I know that sometimes people in Honolulu, I know that some of them will not have necessarily all of the ones. Like because they don't want to go out in public like that because of their job or whatever. Because I remember when you did my friend Ben's tattoos, he said that he limited it. He didn't go beyond the neck or like right below the neck, I think, because of his work, he couldn't have that. Power Plant says, did it go black for other? It did. It did. The camera died. So, Power Plant says traditional Maori facial tattoos are awesome. Yeah, the ones that go are like the mokos, right? George has to head out. I should be heading out too, because I got to go take the chairs figure out which chair, and then take that to the state fair. MCO says, awesome to see you back, doing well. Have a wonderful week. Catch up again if you do. All right, man, good to see you. Power Plant says, so how did you like the OXO Rapid Brewer? Would you recommend? You know what? I mean, I think it's interesting. I have my initial thoughts on it are very favorable so far. I mean, there's the similarities between the two is that it's about as easy to clean as the AeroPress. So they're similar to clean, but would I recommend it? I mean, if you're curious and want to play with one without really knowing what's going to happen, then yes, absolutely. But if you want to wait, I would wait. I mean, it's $40, but I don't know. I mean, like it's my first time using it. My feelings on this are positive. So, yeah, and that's probably the best thing for me. They're positive at the moment, but I think we need to brew with it more. I got the results that I got today were compared to this, and I did use a finer grind. Was that the same coffee, the House Nation, had more bitternesses, was more bitter than the AeroPress version when it was fresh and hot out of the cup. And then as it cooled, it got some tannic, that bitterness was toned down, but it got more tannic roughness or dry on the finish. And those are characteristics that I typically don't run into using the AeroPress, or at least we did it on Friday. But again, we were using a different grind setting. We were using a bit coarser grind for the AeroPress than the grind we use today for the OXO. So that has to be taken into consideration. But I mean, it's positive, and it's it's probably the best. That's what I'll say. My thoughts are positive on it at the moment. In my hope with using it, it is too big and plasticky. Is it too big? I mean, it is heavier than the AeroPress. I mean, and I'm using the AeroPress as an example because everybody talks about this is the AeroPress killer. I don't know if I ever think that. I mean, it's just a different brewing device. It's a different way of making coffee that maybe you can exploit different things to make coffee out of. But is it about killing this? I mean, I don't know. Those are just YouTubers trying to make, like viral videos. And then I already have an AeroPress. I mean, if you have an AeroPress, are you really missing anything? I don't know. I don't think so. There's still part of me that thinks if you just have like a plastic Melita and number 4 filters, you're still making, and you have great coffee, you're still making more beautiful coffee than most people out there. So, I don't think in coffee you necessarily need all kinds of stuff to make it. Now, maybe with espresso, you're going to need that. Like, we should be more like Anton, buying really nice espresso machines to cultivate our espresso habits. But, Anton says the OXO is sold out at Amazon. Oh, Amazon DE is sold out? Ooh. But you have Festool. That's the most important part of it. Power Plant says, I gotta say, it is so nice to interact with you again. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. I really miss it. I miss the streams too. I miss hanging out with you guys. It's just, but like I said at the beginning, I have to be out doing events and training for the next 2 days. So we won't be back until Thursday. So we'll come back Thursday, and then the plan is. Oh no, maybe the plan is not Thursday. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm supposed to go down to the Eastern Shore of Delaware, and I think that's going to be Thursday. So maybe Friday at the latest, maybe Thursday. Oh, thank you, Keone. I appreciate that as well. I appreciate that. All right, so that's going to be it for today. We've gone a very long time, and I need to get going. So hope you have a wonderful day out there, or night, or evening, or, sueño, sleeping, wherever you are in the world. So, but be back again on, maybe Friday. Sorry. But I'll put in the community post exactly when I'll be able to come back. But it's because I've been basically stuck at home for the last 7 weeks. I got a lot. I put out a lot to catch up with this week. So yeah. All right. So hope you have a wonderful time out there, and see you next time.